Hi, and welcome to the R2RB Indie Artist Podcast Series. And today I have with me Gretchen Emery of the Gretchen Emery Band. You can find the Gretchen Emery Band right here in Delaware. And I love it when I get to interview local indie artists. And this will be my second time sitting down with the Gretchen Emery Band. Gretchen, how are you?
Hey, Debbie, I am great. I'm great. So excited to sit down and talk with you again. It's been a while.
It has been. It's actually been 2 years since we did the first interview.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. Wow. That was in 23? Did we interview in 23?
Yeah, you were actually my second indie artist that I had ever interviewed. I had done Judy Sings the Blues, and then you
Uh-huh.
and Kenny sat down with me, and
Wow.
here we are.
Wow. Time flies. Yeah, lots happened
Yes.
in that space.
Crazy, crazy. Let me just read what you have on your website about the Gretchen Emery Band. The Gretchen Emery Band, infectious, soul powered, time honored influences meet modern inspiration, familiar, fresh, born out of years of partnership between singer Gretchen Emery and guitarist Kenny Windle, an unlikely pair from the opposite sides of the tracks. Gretchen's impassioned delivery cuts to the heart and soul of each song with sultry, gutsy, powerful, award-winning, and world-class vocals. Kenny's guitar style and sense of rhythm, space, and melody are driven by his exposure to diverse musical genres in his North Philly neighborhood, Latin, Hispanic, African jazz, as well as influence from the Motown that saved his life as a kid. And that is so true about the two of you and the band itself.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. It's yeah, those guys sound great. I never get to read our bio, and I've never been in anybody's presence when they read it out loud. So it's kind of cool to hear that.
Yeah, I mean that really describes you and Kenny. Your voice and his guitar playing, and when the two meet, and then your band members. Tell us a little bit about the band, who you are, and who also is in there with you.
Yeah, sure. Be happy to. So aside from Kenny and I, we're so fortunate to have for our live performances and for traveling, we have on bass Randy Waters, who is very well known in the Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area. Randy and I have been friends for a long, long time. Known him even longer than I've known Kenny, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
And I feel so fortunate to play with him because we never played together until maybe the past 5 years. So we've been friends a long time. Finally got music involved as far as playing together. So Randy Waters on bass, and then on keyboards we have Frank Donato, who we both grew up in the Dover area, know a lot of the same people from down there, and he really brings an element to the band with his keys that just gives a a nice, spice of life variety to the music. And we always say Frankie brings the sunshine because before he joined the band, the previous year, any outdoor gig that we had either got rained out or it rained right before or right after we played.
Oh my goodness.
But since Frank joined the band, it might be raining, but the sun would magically come out as soon as he would show up, and the show went on. And so we say Frankie brings the sunshine.
I love it.
And he's our class clown, so he gets in trouble a lot. But it's fun. And on drums we have Mike Leger, who has just, I can't say enough about what a wonderful addition he's been to our band. I mean, all the guys are great. Mike is always there. He arrives early, he stays late, he helps us with whatever we need. And he's a great drummer and friend and just wonderful. That's our core band. For our album release party, we will have our band as well as Joanna Justice, who is on percussion.
Oh, cool.
And now, Joanna, we met through our producer, Derek Chafin. We met Joanna in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, when we made that trip down there. She was a friend of our producers and came on the trip with him. So we met her at that time, and she's awesome. She's just so great.
Awesome.
And we will have two female backup singers for the show.
Oh, cool.
Yep, Michelle and Rene. They're from the Philly area, and they're wonderful. They're also on the album,
Wow.
as is Joanna. They all played on the album that we're releasing on May 16th. I got to sit in on the backing vocal sessions that Michelle and Rene did, and it was really cool. It was super cool just to be there and watch them do their thing. And it's very different from what a lead singer does. So I felt like I was at a master class for backing vocals. It was
What is
great.
that? Oh my gosh. Wow.
It was great. Also, on the album, we had Eric Johnson played drums on the
Okay.
album. He's a Philly-based drummer, well known in that area, highly sought after,
Yeah.
as is Jim Steger on bass. He
Okay.
played some of the bass tracks, and Randy played some of the bass tracks on the album.
Wow.
Jim Steger is also from Philly, also just a top-notch bass player out of Philly. We had Jay Davidson on sax on the album, another number one,
Yeah.
sax player out of Philly, and also Steve Jankowski
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh.
on trumpet. Now Steve and Jay played on our first album. Steve Jankowski is on this album as well, thanks to Jay, and we're grateful to him. So I'm excited about the horns. And we also had a trombonist on the horn tracks for the album. His name is Jacob Stein, and I've never met him. He came through Derek. So like Derek just pulls people out of the ethers, and it all
Works.
is wonderful. And Derek Chafin, of course, is our wonderful, amazing producer who we love so much.
Wow.
And the album was mastered the album was recorded, engineered, and produced by Derek. And then the mastering was done by our good friend Peter Humphries, who has his own mastering studio. And he used to work at Sigma Sound, and he was an engineer at Sigma Sound in Philly for years.
Oh
So
my gosh.
Kenny and Peter go way, way back.
You pulled out all the stops for this one, and we are talking
Hey,
about, yeah, oh my gosh, this is amazing. We're talking about your upcoming album release, A Little Bit of Time, which will be out on May 16th. I am so excited because
yeah.
when we last talked 2 years ago, you were getting ready to go back into the studio to record your next album, and here we are. What happened? Take us on that journey.
Oh my goodness, it really is a journey. I love the recording process so much, and it does take a little bit of time.
Right, right.
To quote the album, for me, it's a process you just have to be patient with and let it evolve. I never try to approach a recording with, we have to record all these songs by December or what have you. I always say, people say, well, when's your album going to be done? I'll say, well, when it's ready, it's like a cake, I'm not going to take it out of the oven until it's ready. And it just, I feel for me, I just have to be patient and let the parts play out. So what happens is we do some pre-recording rehearsals
Okay.
to make at the studio with Derek to make sure that we have the songs arranged the way we want them, and the drum fills and all the little things like that.
Right.
And then we record the bass and drum tracks.
Mhm.
And then Kenny will come in and record his guitar tracks. We get the keys. Oh, I left out one musician. Sorry, Kenny. Kenny Kearns, also of Philadelphia. Kenny Kearns, very well known in the Philly area. He played keys on the album, and he
Okay.
also played keys on our first album as well. So Kenny Kearns came in, and he's on Wurlitzer and Hammond, and whatever sound we needed. He's phenomenal. We get bass and drums, then we get guitar, then the keys get recorded, then we do vocals. And the vocals, Derek and I did a lot of work together to really dig in on my vocals and get me to a different place than where I had been previously. This is how he put it to me before we went in to do our vocal sessions. Was Kenny and I were up in the studio. We had finished Kenny's guitar tracks, and Derek sat down and he looked at me and he said, "Now look." He said, "I love you, right?" I said, "Yes, Derek, of course, I love you too." And he said, "We're going to dig in deep on your vocals, and we're going to work on some things, vibrato and emotion and sound." I said, "Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it."
Take it to another
And
level.
took me to another level. I'm so grateful. It was frightening and exciting and hard, really hard, and I loved it. I loved it. I mean, he basically took everything away from me as far as my toolbox for singing, and then built it all back up again in a different way. It was like putting the same blocks back together in a different configuration. After our first session, I called him the following day, picked up the phone, and he said, "I was just going to call you." He said, "I was feeling really bad." He goes, "Are you okay? Are you all right?" And I said, "Yeah, I was calling you." He said, "I was worried that I was too hard on you." I said, "Well, I was just calling you to thank you for being so hard on me."
Wow.
It was cathartic. I mean, it really was. It was a very emotional process
Cool.
to go through this and have like, "Well, what do I do now, Derek?
Yeah.
How do I sing now?" He got me through it, figured it out, and I broke through. And yeah, so going through that vocal process was really that was really something. That was
Right.
really, really
It had to be really
cool.
emotional for you as well, because I know how much this all means to you and Kenny and the band
Yeah.
itself too, this album.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very emotional. And like I said, it was hard work, but I loved it. I love being in the studio. I just love that work.
Mm.
So the vocals took us a while. The
Okay.
vocals took us a while, and they got done. And once those were done, then Derek adds the horns. He may have had Kenny Kearns come back in and do a little bit more, because as each layer is getting recorded, things take shape,
Right.
right? And
Right.
change.
Yeah.
And as Derek will say, the song will reveal itself to you.
Right.
It's not that we are creating the song, but
Right.
in
But when
so
you're giving it
doing,
life, when you're recording and giving it life, it takes on a
yeah.
different aspect, I would think.
Yeah, it does. And it will tell you, the song will tell you what it needs and doesn't need.
Right.
You change a verse, or you add a part, or you add an instrument, and it either works or it doesn't work. So you kind of keep adding and
Yeah.
subtracting
Right.
until the right thing shakes out. So, he added there may have been more keys, and then the horns and percussion and the backup singers. Then he's got to put it all together, and that is a process. And he's putting it all together all along, and you record multiple let's just say vocal tracks of the same part of
Part.
the song.
Yep.
And he'll take the best of those,
Right.
and so that's comping, he
Right.
puts the right parts in. But then when everything's recorded and comped, then he mixes it. Even Derek, this was a very personal process for him as well as a producer. He went down deep, deep with these songs. And, it's kind of like going down into a diamond mine is how I think of it.
Yeah, right.
And he's down there until he's done. And then he comes, then he emerges again and says, here is your album. It's not quite that simple, but
No.
it takes a lot of energy, and it's personal. You don't record music with somebody without, I mean, it's a very, very intimate, very personal process for all of us and for him as well. And so when his part is done, and he tries to get a certain feel, a certain sound, something that's not vintage and also is fresh and new, but
And make it
different
work.
somehow. Yeah. And he knows what he wants. And then it goes to mastering, and then it's done and
it's crazy,
ready for the world.
right? And I don't think people, the people that aren't in the music industry realize the work that goes into a single. And then when you're talking about an album, and as you just went through the whole process, layer after layer after layer of intense work, personal work, working together individually, and then your final result of your beautiful album, a little bit of time, is just from all your hearts.
Really is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
A little bit
it's
of
got
time.
laughter and tears.
Right.
It's got all of it, kind of like our weather, right? It's like sunshine one minute and rain the next.
Oh my gosh. So A Little Bit of Time is the name of the album, but you also have a single on the album, A Little Bit of Time.
Yep, that's the title track. Yes.
There you go. So the story behind the name, is there a story behind the name?
Yeah, of course. Usually our songwriting happens this way. Kenny will have a guitar riff in his head, a pattern, and he'll say, listen to this, what do you think? And he'll start to play it. And then I'll start to just vocalize, just making sound, not necessarily coming straight out with lyrics. He played that for me. And I'm just going to add that Kenny has new ideas dripping out of him all the time, which is great. I can't keep up. Like he's so prolific. I have many, many, many voice memos on my phone of Kenny ideas. Another idea by Kenny, smooth groove by Kenny, cool new idea by Kenny, all over my phone.
Oh my God.
Some of them end up on the album. So when he presented what became Little Bit of Time to me, I loved it immediately. And what you hear when you hear the album and you hear the opening track, and you may have seen some of our snippets on Facebook or Instagram where we give a little sample of the song. When he first played the beginning of the song for me, I loved it instantly. As I started vocalizing it and kind of finding my pattern with the vocal, then I just started singing. Words would come to mind. I would just it was a little bit random. Little Bit of Time just kind of came out of my mouth, but there was a lot of relevance to it. So when I worked on it and I developed the lyrics, I was really thinking back on a time in my life where there were a lot of folks around me boosting me up and telling me great things. And I thought they were helping me, but they were really holding me back. Either they were holding me back or my belief that I needed them was holding me back. It took me a little bit of time to come to that realization. So it's really sort of like, I think we all have these moments in our lives. They don't have to be, big or heavy or anything, but it's kind of, gee, what a difference a day makes
Right?
kind of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like one day is like, oh my God, the sky is falling. And the next day you're dancing. Sometimes it's about self-discovery, or sometimes it's about just, I don't know, taking a break or what have you. But for me, that song was, about a period in my life where I learned that I was enough. There's a line in the song that says, "Took a little bit of time till you loved me, just like I wanted you to do.
Aw.
Took a little took a little bit more till I understood the only love I needed was my own."
Oh,
So I think that kind of nails it
yeah,
for
absolutely.
me. And so extrapolating from that then to the whole album is really my story of sort of self-discovery, coming out of a hard time, a relationship, and moving on, and finally culminating in, I think the final song on the album is called Walk With You. And it's kind of this redemptive, joyful, I will be with you, like in this steadfast way, no matter what, rain or shine kind of thing.
Oh,
So,
I love that.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I love a good story behind an album.
yeah, yeah,
And
me
you
too.
guys have a great relationship, a great story, a great band, and having this album coming around for you on and releasing on May 16th is just awesome. Do you have like
Thank you.
one little highlight? I'm sure you have many, but do you have like one of those aha or highlight moments of putting this album together?
Like as far as I'll always remember X from this process.
Yeah,
Wow.
I know that's a hard one.
It is. I think it was the vocal transition. I think it was all that I had just described going through Derek, and when you think about it, what I just described to you as far as the song and the album as this kind of, woman coming into her own place and confidently.
Right.
And I think the work and the catharsis of the vocal change is representative
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
of that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So
absolutely.
I'd have to say the
Yeah.
vocal work. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And you're having a big release party on May 16th at the Queen
Yes.
up in Wilmington. Are there tickets left? Can people still get there?
People can get tickets on the Queen website at their event page. And as far as I know, there are a few tickets left. You can buy tickets at the door as well. They're just $15.
People are going to buy tickets, do it now because it's going to
Yeah.
be here before they know it. And you definitely need, if you can make it, get there.
Get there. Yeah, it's coming quick. We know of a lot of people that are coming, and we'll see who else shows up at the door. We're so excited, ready.
Absolutely. How many songs are on the album?
There are 6 songs on the album.
So you're releasing the album on the 16th. Are you releasing a little bit of time as a single as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. We'll release it all, but we're promoting the single right now, but it'll all be out there on the 16th. And if I can go back to the party for a minute,
Sure.
we also have special guest Harvey Road playing after us. So
Wow.
we will play first, play our album, and we'll play some of our other songs from the first release as
Oh,
well. We really wanted to kind of be able to keep the party going, get around and talk to our guests, then, have another band to
oh, how
keep it all
fun.
moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, Harvey Road is an awesome, awesome, awesome hip hop band I almost have trouble describing them. Hip hop is not a complete description. Harv is the lead singer. It's original music. He's powerful. He's a dynamic performer. He's got a great voice. Our bass player, Randy, also happens to play with Harvey Road
Oh, how
as
cool.
well.
Okay.
So he's got double duty that night. They have Lucky on drums, Lucky Jovan, and Mike Z plays guitar. I'm sure I'm forgetting someone. Sometimes there's a fabulous neo-soul singer in Wilmington named Aziza Naila.
Okay.
And she's awesome. Awesome. So she does sometimes perform with them. I don't know if she'll be at the show or not. I hope she is. I hope she is, because she's
Absolutely. What a
fabulous.
great idea to enjoy your own party. Absolutely. That'll be so much
Yeah.
fun. Packed house and everybody getting to talk with you and congratulate you. It's so exciting.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and it's upstairs in the Queen Room, which is nice because there's tables and chairs. There's a big bar. They'll have some food available for sale, and we're just thrilled. So the Queen website has tickets. Our website, GretchenEmery.com.
Okay.
There's a ticket link which takes you to the Queen.
Okay.
And I think the Queen has multiple other, it's on Eventbrite and, multiple places. Of course, I've got Facebook events on both my personal Gretchen Emery Facebook page, our Gretchen Emery Band Facebook page. We've got a link on Instagram at Gretchen Emery Band.
It's a lot of social networking.
It is. It's a brave new world, man, with all this stuff.
Right?
You and I didn't grow up with that. We put posters up and we called people on the phone.
Right.
So
you found out from a friend who was playing at the local.
Exactly. So I don't know. We found out some way, somehow,
Right.
but I'm trying to hang. I'm trying to be up with the times with all the social media.
Yeah,
So
I mean, it's important, but it's a lot of work.
it is. It really is.
In the end,
really is. I'm learning a lot.
Right. You continue to learn. But in the end, it pays off because you'll have a full house. The Queen will be booked and you guys will be rocking and rolling with your new album. A little bit of time. Yeah.
Heck yeah. I totally forgot. I am so sorry. We do have another friend joining our band for the show.
Oh, cool.
Kenny has worked with another guitar player who is a good friend of his. His name is Bobby Rayner. He's from the Lansdale area, Lansdale, PA. He and Kenny have been playing music together since they were, 17, 18. So Bobby is joining us for this show as well, which is, it's special. It's really special because he and Ken have been friends for so long. And Bob's played with us on and off throughout the years.
Special night.
So I have so many people on stage.
We can fit them all.
It's exciting.
It's
exciting. Yeah.
I am so excited for you, Kenny, and the band. I know this has been in the works for some time, and I'm so glad that you sat down with me and we got to talk about a little bit of time. Oh my gosh, so exciting. I can't wait to listen or read all the reviews from the show and all the snippets and everything else. Oh my gosh, Gretchen. And please tell Kenny that to the both of you, it's just so great to be able to once again speak with you and find out about all the great things you two and the band have been doing. So congratulations.
Thank you so much. And it's so great to talk to you. And, I hope we get to see each other again soon. I don't know if you'll be able to make it to the show, but you have been to some of our other performances, and it means so much, to have you in the audience. And thank you for giving us this platform today for your program and shining a light on what we've been up to. And so
you're welcome. I'm so glad that I'm able to do it. I will not be able to make it up to the show, but I'm sure if you're going to be playing during the summer, I will catch you then.
Oh, yes. If GretchenEmery.com has our whole list of shows from here through December.
So all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So great to speak with you. Thanks, Debbie. Take care.
You too. Thank you.
And I hope you love the album when it comes out and you listen. I want to hear back from you.
I can't wait. I'm so excited about that part. Absolutely.
That's what we want.
Absolutely. Thank you.